Good afternoon. We've been doing a lot of 2 for 2s, have we not? Damn. Turning 50. Did I get like some free Geritol for my birthday? Did one of you send me that? I don't know. Maybe it's the heat. It might be the heat. You ever water your plants in the morning and then you look outside around noon when you're getting like a sandwich or some whatever you eat for lunch, and you look outside and they're like, pew, falling over. The struggle is real. V. Oakley said, I feel like it's Thanksgiving in July this week. What, you smell turkey? You smell some turkey? What's up going on, girl? Speaking of Thanksgiving, it's only 4 months away. Eek. I would say I have to plan my menu, but I think we all know that we all eat the same things. That's why in the Crime Lines and Lies Facebook group, I always say, all right, here is the post to post your food. Okay? And I'm telling you what, it's always the usual suspects. They'll have a half-eaten plate of mashed potatoes, stuffing, turkey, and some damn canned corn and a piece of a roll sitting there, and they'll take a picture and go, Happy Thanksgiving, Brooks, and my CLL family. And I'm like, nope. Enough with that shit. No. Sophia said, when can I put up my Christmas tree since it's Thanksgiving this week? This week, girl. Do it. Seriously. We have a challenge every year. Who puts their tree up first? I always put mine up before Halloween. Isn't that weird? I like to have time to enjoy it. I really do. When do you put your tree up, Sister Connie? Sarah's putting hers up on Friday. Okay, so July 25th, Sarah's putting her tree up. Can we have a round of applause for Sarah? Now that is the Christmas spirit. Boomer said, am I in warp time? This started 3 minutes ago. What month is this? July. Now, I'm going to bring up someone very special to all of us. You know her as Mama B. I know her as my friend Christina. And we're going to talk about this case today. Oh, hold on. First, let's tell everyone welcome back, even though it was an hour ago since we saw each other or typed with each other. Hello, Mama B. What's up, girl?
Hello.
Is my co-host there, the ever so precious Haley, that has she was member of the month, and she has a stuffed OJ as well. Oh, Kitty, I didn't mean I was going to stuff you. I said she has an OJ doll, just like you.
Yeah, she's here somewhere.
Okay. Oh, don't bother her. It's okay. Well, let's say happy birthday to All I Need is Jesus Coffee and True Crime. Today's her birthday. How old are you, honey buns? And many more. Look at me being a hypocrite. I tell people all the time, get out of your YouTube app, turn down your volume. I hope I probably blared you guys out. Let's see. 5, Crime, Lines, and Lies membership from Angel P. Stephanie Murray, welcome back. Ginger's Girls, woo. East Texas Chick, Rebecca Micolo, and boy, I tell you what, Clipped Wings, and you must know how to pick them. Except for Walking Dead and Brit. For some reason, the members gods at YouTube do not like them. So Mama B, let's talk about Saturday. An Amber Alert came across your phone, not just one, but several. Do tell. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, we got one. The first one was at like 1:15 in the morning.
A 1:15 in the morning. Okay. The credit for this article, because I did not type it, I do not work for Times Now World. Well, it goes to Times Now World. It says U.S. News. Authored by Naaman Trivedi. I'm going to assume they say this is in America because they're from America. That's okay. Okay, she's back. Hold on. Hello? Hello? It's just me for a second. Melina Galanus Fratolin, 9 years old, was found dead in Ticonderoga. That's in New York. Where is Mama B? Mama B, you're my New York connection today. I need to talk to you today. After an Amber Alert was issued in Lake George, New York, authorities discovered inconsistencies in her father's account. Her body was located in a wooded area, but the cause of death remains unknown. Police say no abduction occurred and there's no public threat. Makes sense. Now, he was talking about exit 22, I believe. She was found on exit 26. So she spoke to her mother sometime around 6:30 in the evening, and then she was reported missing at 10 p.m. Not just missing, not abducted, kidnapped. You know, someone came out of the woods and they had chloroform and duct tape, dressed like a ninja, and grabbed her. That didn't happen. So at 4:30 p.m. on Sunday, 5:30 p.m. Okay, so she's not connected. She was connected. 5:30 p.m. on Saturday, Melina was seen alive with her father on a surveillance video. Now, she spoke on the phone to her mom at 6:30, I believe. Amber Alert goes out, and the thing is, the Amber Alert's funky because it kept changing and changing and changing. And it really confused the people in the Saratoga Springs, Lake George area. So 4:30 p.m., 2 exits down, Melina is found dead underneath a log in a pond. Well, let's go to the top here. She's a beautiful little girl. A Canadian coffee entrepreneur killed his 9-year-old daughter during a trip to upstate New York, stashing her body under a log in a remote pond just before he was supposed to return her to his ex-wife, say cops. Yeah. And she had spoken to her mother at 6:30. Motive, anyone? So instead of returning her to her mother, he said she was kidnapped. This sounds like a motive. Something with the X is the motive. Luciano Fratolin, a 45-year-old debt-riddled neat freak, was charged with second-degree murder and unlawful disposal of a corpse after the tragic child was found dead in a shallow waterway outside Ticonderoga on northern end of Lake George on Sunday afternoon. Let me jump on Facebook and see if I can send a new link to Mama B. Mama B. I'll put it in here too. She might see it better in here. Sometimes it works better from the chat. She might be having signal problems. That's okay. A lot of people, maybe it's the heat with all these connection problems. Okay, so he's supposed to return her to her mom. She talks to her mom. Then, poof, she's kidnapped, according to her dad. The dad allegedly, well, it's not allegedly because he did, filed a bogus kidnapping report about Melina on Saturday night. Let's see if she did. There, you're connected. So he filed a kidnapping report about Melina on Saturday night, claiming she was whisked away by two men in a white van. I had never heard that part before. Have you?
He what?
He said she was whisked away by two men in a white van. So,
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Really? So he's not smart enough to know at these rest areas there's cameras, and they saw her on surveillance with him at 4:30. She spoke to her mom at 6:30, and then he calls at 10 to say two men in a white van whisked her away.
Well, right away when the Amber Alert came out, my husband and I looked at each other and went, "There's no rest area, exit 22." There's a pull off, but there's no rest area.
And he said he stopped there to pee-pee.
Mm-hmm. There's an exit between 23 and 24. So we thought maybe he had his exits wrong, But I said, he says 22. They're all going to 22. He knows where he's at. There's no rest area there. It's a lookout for like Prospect Mountain.
Okay, but she was found at exit
26.
26. And she was in a remote pond under a log.
So he went from exit 15 right here in Saratoga, or 14 right there by the track in Saratoga.
Let me put the map up. This is from the New York Post. I did not make the map. I got to keep Nick happy. All right, so here, okay, so Saratoga, this is Highway 87. Go ahead.
Yep. So where number 1 would be Saratoga, right where I'm at. And then number 2 would probably be like Glens Falls area. And then 3 goes all the way up to Ticonderoga, which is exit 26. So he went from 14 or 15 to 26. And then back down to 22. But his story started unraveling when he said he was on his way to bring her back to Montreal to her mother. Well, why are you going from Saratoga to Lake George back down 87 towards Saratoga if you're going up towards Montreal?
Good point.
Because it's just a straight shot.
Yeah.
It's a straight shot from Saratoga, from Albany to Canada. It's a straight shot.
I did not realize that.
Yeah.
Not that I would. All right, so there's no cause of death. They found her in a pond. By the way, I had to just edit the title because, as you see, instead of saying Lake George, it says Giorgio or something like that. It looks like something Italian, Giorgie. So I have to autocorrect. Obviously, didn't work for me.
I'm wondering if they found her in Paradox Lake and not a pond.
Well, let me look. It says remote pond, and I know you're from that area.
Because
Okay.
Paradox Lake is right up there, right between. I'm not sure if it's right past Ticonderoga or if it's right before Ticonderoga, but it's right in the same vicinity.
Is there any sort of like residual ponds that come off of Prospect Lake?
I don't remember. I haven't been there, I don't think, camping since I was probably 16 years old.
I brought you on here as an expert witness in New York geography. Goodness. Woo! Okay. The dad had allegedly filed, which it's not allegedly, a bogus kidnapping report saying that she was whisked away by two men in a white van Saturday. And it prompted a statewide Amber Alert, which actually wound up going nationwide. And we talked about that yesterday. You're like, how did this spread so fast? One, it's New York. Okay. It's New York. But when a child is taken out of her father's car and whisked away by two men in a white van, it's going to spread like wildfire because you don't know where the white van people are going to go.
Well, I saw this hours before the Amber Alert came out. It was on one of the What's Going On Saratoga pages. And this girl had posted that a little girl had been kidnapped and they were looking for a white box truck. And I mean, it was hours before the Amber Alert came out. And people were telling her she was crazy. And then other people were coming on saying, no, they've got state troopers at every turnoff on 87. And they're like, they've got their lights. They're looking for this white man. And it was all up and down the Northway. And of course, they didn't find anything because there was nothing to find. But as soon as they got the call, I mean, they sprung into action. There was no doubt that they were doing what they were supposed to do. You know, they were doing everything that they could to find this kid.
That's one thing I will say about New York. When it comes to their Amber Alert system and finding a child, they're Johnny on the spot. I mean, they're all over it to the point that your troopers go to other states and teach other troopers about fast response when a child is missing. Hats off.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see many Amber Alerts out of New York, but when you do, I mean, they do a good job.
Okay, well, there's his mugshot. So he's being held at the Essex County Jail. How far is that from you?
That's probably 50 miles from here.
All right, let's see. He initially said he walked away from his vehicle, and when he returned, his child was gone. He reported a suspicious white vehicle near the scene. In addition, two men in the vehicle. This theory was thoroughly investigated and refuted by law enforcement. Melina's lifeless body was discovered a few hours later, with authorities saying there was no evidence she had been kidnapped. The family lives in Quebec, and Melina and her dad were vacationing in Lake George, about 30 miles from where her body was found. Now, my understanding is some of these Amber Alerts or whatever, the alerts kept changing.
Yeah.
I mean, you have your phone handy. Just what do you know from like memory? What was going on?
First, it was a white box van, and she had blue and white shirt on, and then they changed her description, or she had a striped shirt on or something. Then she had a blue and white striped shirt on, and it just so happened that they released the second shirt with the blue and white stripes or black and white stripes on it that he had just so happened to have taken that day, which was odd. And the time changed from 7:40 was the last time he saw her to 9:40, then back to 7:40, then back to 9:40. Then we got a canceled Amber Alert after she was found, and then we got another Amber Alert last night at 9:40 with the correct time. It was all very, very strange. There was, I mean, too many Amber Alerts. It was like, what is going on?
Because he couldn't keep his story straight.
Every time his story changed, we got a new Amber Alert.
Yeah, he couldn't keep his story straight.
And
It was from white car to van to box van.
Yep.
And all of this on a day that they're vacationing in Lake George, and he is supposed to return her to her mother. Do you know, does her mom live in Quebec or does she live in upstate New York?
The mother, I understand, lives in Montreal.
Hmm.
And I bet you that they were down here in Saratoga at the track all day. Because the track just opened.
That would make more sense. She was, I hate using that word, but it has to be done on this show every now and then. She was 9 years old, and look how pretty she is.
Uh-huh.
Do you think it's odd that he described her in the same clothes she's wearing in this picture?
Very odd.
Because this picture is not from that day. Joanne said the mom lives in Quebec. Okay, there she is again with his mugshot. So people keep asking motive. What do you think the motive could be?
I think she probably said something to her mother on the phone that pissed him off and he hit her.
Well, he did something because the cause of death is still undetermined. All right, let me give everybody a real run through real quick. We're going to keep covering this if you all want. This is from Central New York Central, CNY Central. Father arrested after Canadian girl Melina Fratellin found dead in New York. I did not make this video. You don't have to keep doing that, Christina, because of Nick in Spokane, Washington.
We're following breaking news out of Essex County. You're hearing first on CBS 6. The father of a girl found dead after an Amber Alert in the North Country is now in custody. The body of 9-year-old Melina Fratellin was found Sunday evening in Ticonderoga. CBS 6's Laura.
Have you been able to see the probable cause? Because I'm wondering, did they arrest him? I mean, he's arrested for murder, but sometimes the probable cause will list out like a lot of details.
No, in New York, it's very hard to get a hold of that kind of stuff.
Okay. Because I would just like to know exactly what they arrested him on. Murder is one thing, but how did they know he murdered her?
Yeah.
I don't know enough about that. Renee Marie said there was a custody battle. Mom said the phone call showed no red flags. Yeah, cool and calm, showing Melina the day of her life, and the next thing you know,
Found Sunday evening in Ticonderoga. CBS 6's Laura Jeanette is joining us live from the road. Laura, you were at the scene earlier. Tell us what you saw.
That's right, Emma. We were at the scene earlier. However, we couldn't stay because there was really bad cell service. However, we did see police cars and there was still caution tape up. The girl's father, Luciano Fratellin.
Okay, that's really strange. Okay, so she's with the news. She's with CNY Central. She said they had to move because of really, really bad cell signal. So I'm wondering well, anyway.
I know my mom lives at exit 25 and there is no cell service up there.
I mean, I'm not concerned about him making the 911 call. I'm just wondering, how did they trace her to the pond if there's no cell signal out there?
I think he broke down and told where she was.
Really? Okay. Hey, you have a neighbor in here. Renee Marie said, I'm in upstate New York. My heart hurts for this beautiful angel. Say hi to your neighbor, Christina.
Howdy.
Sweet Vicky 12 said, hi, all. I'm from Ticonderoga. A local woman here is putting together a candlelight vigil tonight for this sweet angel. That is wonderful. That really is. I mean, I don't love when a child dies. I love when they're respected.
There's two. There's one in Ticonderoga and one in Scroon Lake tonight.
How do you say it again? Ticonderoga?
Ticonderoga.
Okay. I guess I was hooked on phonics too much because I was actually really sounding it out. Okay, Sweet V Kiki Ticonderoga. Chrissy, what are you talking about? There's R's in that sentence. You can't pronounce it. Chrissy's from Boston.
And was taken into custody and is in the Essex County Jail. And law enforcement, the girl's father, Luciano Fertolin, was taken into custody and is in the Essex County Jail. And law enforcement stated that Luciano's timeline of the events just were not adding up and found several inconsistencies. Following an Amber Alert that was issued early Sunday morning, the Warren County Sheriff's Office turned the investigation over to state police, who stated where the girl was found. The Police Benevolent Association of New York State, in part, quote,
The PBA of New York State sends our deepest condolences to the family of Melina. Our thoughts are also with our member forest rangers and ECOs dealing with the grief of this horrific tragedy. Now, Essex County, are they pretty firm with the law? I know there's no death penalty in New York, but in Essex County, what do you think they're going to do with him?
I have no idea. I don't know how they are up there.
Okay. But it's like 50 miles from you?
Yeah.
Okay. You keep well schooled in everything within a 100-mile radius of you then, right?
Well, I try, but Essex County is very small, and you don't hear much about it because I don't think very much bad goes on up there.
Okay, hence my question. Have they even had a murder there before? Or any time in recent history that you can remember?
No.
And a child with a botched, not a botched, but a fabricated kidnapping and a Amber Alert, or as Chrissy says, Amber Alert goes out. So I'm just wondering how, I mean, if they're that kind of, I don't mean to say behind in the times, wonder what they're going to do.
I don't know.
Condolences to the family of Melina Galanis Fertolin. Our thoughts are also with our member forest rangers and ECOs dealing with the grief of this horrific tragedy. The Amber Alert was issued after the girl was seen in a white van on I-87 southbound near exit 22 at 9:40 p.m. on Saturday. State police say they expect a press conference to be held with further information on this case. Emma?
And they did. Have you gone through the press conference yet, Mama B?
A little bit.
It's a lot of info. So we're going to go through it because I just can't believe this happened to this little girl. This is from my NBC5-W as in Walker, P as in PP, T as in Tom, Z as in zebra. I have to make sure to always make sure that you guys understand I am not behind the podium doing the press conference, and I did not have a camera there filming the press conference. Right, Christina? Where did they have the press conference at, Christina?
What's that?
Where did they have the press conference?
I'm not sure whether it was Essex County or if it was up in Scroon Lake or where it was.
Look at this. Angel P thought that I was really there doing the press conference. That's the reason I have to make everything, clear for YouTube. We lost Mama B. Sweet TV Kiki said they held the presser in Latham, New York. Okay. Rocco, welcome. Rocco's from the area. All right. I think we have some new people in here. You guys are going to love it here. We're live every morning at 9 a.m., which would be 10 a.m. your time because I'm in Oklahoma. You're going to find the best people, the best mods, and I'm glad you're here. Just get reminded. We have a ton of different cases we talked about. Joanne said it was held in Itham, New York. The hell? Well, I mean, it was held. Okay, let's just put it that way. It was held. Hey, you guys, we have some new people in here. While we're getting this put together, can we tell all our new friends welcome? Love it, love it, love it. And look at this. Diana Howery is already. Cindy Snyder's back. Jaded. Amanda Ruiz. I'm a Mean Girl. McKenna Bays. Welcome back. Man, this is great. Thank you so much, Diana. You guys are amazing. Never Give Up said I'm 3 hours away from this place. Okay, for those of you that are local, while this is getting set up, Rocco, Never Give Up. If you want to grab the link, it would be greatly appreciated, and come up and tell us what's going on in, as Al Roker says, in your neck of the woods. You don't need to turn on your camera. We don't need your address. No one's going to stalk you. No one's going to dox you, nothing like that. But please, I need somebody from that area to come up and school us. You're okay, Joanne. Joanne, can you grab the link? You've been around a long time, girlfriend. I would love for you to come up. Goodness.
Good morning. My name is Robert McConnell, and I'm the BCI captain for the New York State Police in Troop J. I would like to thank members of the media for being with us today. I'm joined to the podium by Zone Commander, Captain Gary Denise, Assistant PCI Commander of Troop G, Lieutenant Andrew Cornell, Acting Director of Forest Protection, Dave Patcher, Deputy Commissioner, Matthew Franklin, Acting Colonel Brian Gillis, Captain Scott Daly from the Department of Environmental Conservation of Public Protection.
Just Me said being in debt for child support. Is that what it said? Well, what do they say? Death and taxes? If you're behind in child support, big boy, even if your child dies, you gotta pay it.
The New York State Police and our partners is currently investigating the homicide of Melina Fratolin. I want to remind everyone that this is an ongoing investigation, and this information is preliminary and subject to change. On Saturday, July 19th, 2025, at approximately 10 o'clock p.m., Warren County 911 received a call from a man reporting his 9-year-old daughter missing with a possible abduction in the area of exit 22 of I-87 Northway in Lake George. The child was identified as Melina Fratolin, age 9, and the caller as her father, Luciano Fratolin, age 45. The New York State Police and Warren County Sheriff's Office immediately responded to the area of exit 22 of the Northway and initiate an investigation in an attempt to locate Molina. On Sunday, July 20th, a search detail comprised of officers from multiple agencies conducted an organized search in the town of Ticonderoga, New York. In an area, Mr. Fratolin was suspected of having visited. During that search,
Okay, so they said he was suspected to have been visiting there. So they're not going to say if it's a cell phone ping, if they caught him on one of the cameras going down the highway. I'm sure one of our locals can help us out here. Rocco said the rest stop was just a parking area, no restrooms. Well, you know, he changed his story and said he just kind of went off in the woods to go pee. And that's what Mama B was saying. She said it's not a rest area. And then she said, she was explaining, like she said, her mom's at like exit 25. She said Molina was found at a remote pond off of exit 26. Do you think maybe he thought he would get away with this? Because one constant in this case is that the cell service is terrible there. And her death would not clear his debt. I think he had many other debts, considering he has this very lucrative coffee company. But the one debt he just couldn't bear to live with. And I think it has to do with the ex, not with Molina, but with the child support. Sweet said local people posted on Facebook that police went door to door saying they had cell phone pings and asked if people had seen anything suspicious. Interesting. I would love for you to grab the link. And there is another hearing for him on Friday. I do not know if it will be streamed live. If not, I will pick it up from another news station. I will not be there recording it myself, but I will be using fair use to share it with all of you, and we can comment and chat together, which would probably be Monday afternoon.
search detail at approximately 10:50, members of the New York State Police and Warren County Sheriff's Office immediately responded to the area of exit 22 of the Northway and initiated an investigation in an attempt to locate Molina. On Sunday, July 20th, a search detail comprised of officers from multiple agencies conducted an organized search in the town of Ticonderoga, New York. In an area, Mr. Fratolin was suspected of having visited. During that search detail, at approximately 10:50, members of the New York State Police Forest Rangers located Molina deceased in the shallow portion of a pond. This investigation has revealed that on July 11th, 2025, Mr. Fratolin and Molina, both residents of Montreal, Quebec, legally entered the United States for the purpose of a vacation. They are expected to return to Canada on.
Now, were they, not that it matters, but it kind of does. Were they at Lake George hanging out, or were they at the racetrack? I have not seen where that has been confirmed. And exit 26, according to Mama B, is Prospect Lake. So they say a shallow pond and a log was on her. There's got to be some residual pond around there. Rocco, do you know? Sweet, do you know?
This investigation has revealed that on July 11th, 2025, Mr. Fratolin and Molina, both residents of Montreal, Quebec, legally entered the United States for the purpose of a vacation. They are expected to return to Canada on Sunday, July 20th, at which time Molina would be returned to the custody of her mother in Montreal. The mother and Mr. Fratolin have been estranged since 2019. The child resided full-time with her mother, and Fratolin visited with the child when in Canada. At about 5:30 p.m. on July 20th, Molina is observed with her father on video surveillance in Saratoga Springs, New York. At about 6:30 p.m., she spoke to her mother on the phone and told her she and her father were en route back to Canada.
All right, so what Mama B was saying, it's like a straight shot from where they were up to Montreal. Now, Melina's mother said she didn't sense any anxiety, any kind of stress, any sort of red flags. She didn't think anything was going on. And I'm just putting that out there because this woman, if she thought he was about to kill her daughter, would have called the troopers herself, 911, or got in the car herself and said, now I'll get her. So for the people that are saying that the mom should have done more, they have lost their gourd.
Time, Melina would be returned to the custody of her mother in Montreal. The mother and Mr. Fratolin have been estranged since 2019. The child resided full-time with her mother, and Fratolin visited with the child when in Canada. At about 5:30 p.m. on July 20th, Melina is observed with her father on video surveillance in Saratoga Springs, New York. At about 6:30 p.m., she spoke to her mother on the phone and told her she and her father were en route back to Canada. The child appeared to be in good health and did not indicate she was under any duress. The investigation has determined sometime after Melina's phone call with her mother and before Mr. Fratolin's 911 call, he allegedly murdered Melina and left her body in a remote area where she was later discovered by law enforcement.
Okay, Rocco said, from what I understand, they were in Saratoga, then went to Lake George. Thank you for that. Eileen Daniels said Eagle Lake. Where is Eagle Lake? Because Mama B mentioned Prospect Lake. Chrissy said STFU and stop victim blaming. Chrissy can say that sentence. You know why? There's not one R in it. We have a lot of new people in here, and I'm loving it. Thank you. Yes, you'll like it here.
She and her father were en route back to Canada. The child appeared to be in good health and did not indicate she was under any duress. The investigation has determined sometime after Melina's phone call with her mother and before Mr. Fratolin's 911 call, he allegedly murdered Melina and left her body in a remote area where she was later discovered by law enforcement. Initial reports from Mr. Fratolin of a suspicious white van in the area of the alleged disappearance was proven to be untrue.
Yeah. No shit. There was no white car. There was no two guys. There was no white van. There was no box van because Mama B read me all of those Amber Alerts yesterday. Rocco said, as of yesterday, the mom is in town and had to identify her body. She talked to her baby girl at 6:30. And they say sometime between 6:30 and 10 p.m., that's when he killed her. That is horrible for her. Great thought, Susan. Susan said, was he perhaps gambling as a last resort and lost? That could be part of it because people, no pun intended, they pony up a lot of dough at Saratoga. A lot.
The suspect has been charged with murder in the second degree and concealment of human corpse.
All right, somebody needs to New York explain this to me. We lost Mama B. Someone needs to New York explain this to me. He's the only one that could have done it. Why is he getting murder in the second? She's a 9-year-old little girl that was found in a remote area, a remote pond, off of an exit off of 87 under a log. Why on earth? I don't care if it takes him a year to get the cause of death. Why is he charged with murder too? Are they saying there was no premeditation? How could there not be? How can there not be? I guarantee there's some Google searches there. I guarantee. When Mama called him before he took Melina out and said, hey, remember, when you get back, you owe me some money, honey. Murder too. I will leave it right there. It will make sense. Sweet, Rocco, do you guys know why he would get murder too instead of murder in the first?
He was then transported to the Essex County Correctional Facility where he was held pending arraignment. The suspect is scheduled to be at Ticonderoga Town Court this morning for arraignment. Melina's cause of death is pending the results of an autopsy, which is scheduled for later today. This is certainly a difficult case and a heartbreaking investigation. On behalf of the New York State Police and our law enforcement partners, I want to offer our condolences to the family of Melina. I would additionally like to thank our partners with the Warren County Sheriff's Office, Essex County Sheriff's Office, Warren County District Attorney, Essex County District Attorney, the Montreal Police Department, Department of Environmental Conservation, the Ticonderoga Police Department, and the FBI for their assistance in this investigation. If any member of the public...
Okay, so Rocco believes they'll charge him with second, and as they find more evidence, they'll add more charges on. It'll be in the first. Any crime against a child in some states, I can't speak for all of them, you don't need premeditation. It's considered extremely egregious because you're dealing with a child. And your own child, according to the law, actually makes it worse. Angel Lion says probably because it wasn't premeditated. I get what you're saying. There's a lot of premeditation talk with this case, but it's not like he killed her in self-defense. You know, she's a child.
Has information regarding the death of Melina Fratolin, I encourage them to contact the New York State Police at area code 518-783-3211. I will now answer a limited number of questions. I ask for your patience as due to the active nature of this ongoing investigation, I am limited with respect to how much we can release at this time. The motive is still under investigation.
Okay, so he said the motive is still under investigation. You know what? I can help him. I can help him. Mama wanted the child support. Daddy can't stand her. Daddy wanted the ultimate punishment. Rocco said they had been visiting for 5 days. Were supposed to head back to Canada on the 20th. Why the last couple days did he decide to do this? I don't know. That's a very good question. And in these cases, we're used to the moms going bonkers. But for a dad to take his daughter on vacation and make up such a bizarre story, this is a new one for me, my friends.
What led you to believe that? What was the first sign that there were inconsistencies?
Yes, sir. So the suspect's initial account is that he had pulled over in the area of exit 22 in Lake George, pulled over into a parking lot to urinate. His initial report is he steps away to a wooded area, returns to the vehicle, and at that point, his child is gone from the vehicle. He reports a suspicious white van fleeing the scene southbound. During a subsequent interview, he then reports 2 unknown males forced her into a white van. That lead was thoroughly investigated and disproven. The cause of death is pending the results of the autopsy, which is scheduled for today. Go ahead. We have no information that there's any issues with mental health. No. He was. He has no criminal history. He has no domestic violence history either.
Hello, Rhinestone Cowgirl. I love that name. Okay, no criminal history, no domestic history. I'm going to assume that would be in Canada. That's where they're from, Montreal. We heard this in the last show we just did about how Stephen Stearns had no criminal history. Well, he does now. Okay? No one's saying because someone murders someone that they're suddenly Ted Bundy and there could be 200 other people out there dead. Hold on. Rhinestone Cowgirl said, sorry, I've been offline. I fell and shattered my wrist and arm in 20 pieces and I spent my birthday in surgery. What? And it's her birthday. Can we take a second to tell Rhinestone Cowgirl happy birthday?
It's your birthday today. It's your birthday today. There's a cat licking your birthday cake. It's your birthday today. It's your birthday today. It's your birthday today. There's a cat licking your birthday cake. It's your birthday today.
By the way, that is not my content. I actually stole it from our friend Cat OG.
The cause of death is pending the results of the autopsy, which is scheduled for today. Go ahead.
Do you all think, and this is a very rude and grim thing to ask, do you all think it's going to be drowning or suffocation? Do you think she possibly passed away, died in the water, or was already dead? Let's put our thinking caps on.
We have no information that there's any issues with mental health. No. He was.
Okay, so right there is where he confirmed from the journalist that he was behind on child support.
He has no criminal history. He has no domestic violence history either.
How cooperative was Luciano in the discovery of her body?
I cannot provide any information with regard to that at this point.
Well, then let's say anything.
I don't want to speak to the prosecution, but he'll be charged and prosecuted in New York State.
What led you to Ticonderoga?
I don't want to divulge too much with respect to law enforcement technology or the tools we use, just to say that we focus our search area at Ticonderoga based on inconsistencies in his initial account, as well as some technology available to law enforcement.
And the which way he was heading. They did a grid search.
Where did the 911 call emanate from?
The suspect.
Never Give Up said New York will take your license for back child support, but he owed it in Montreal. I don't exactly know the rules in Canada, and it seems, considering he's wealthy and has a very successful coffee company, I'm going to assume that the country of Canada, almost said state of Canada, I had to think about it, would garnish his wages like they do in New York. I have a feeling it was kind of like when he would bring his daughter back, here's your check. So I don't know how they do it in Canada.
What led you to Ticonderoga?
I don't want to divulge too much with respect to law enforcement technology or the tools we use, just to say that we focus our search area at Ticonderoga based on inconsistencies in his initial account, as well as some technology available to law enforcement.
Where did the 911 call emanate from?
The suspect.
No,
geographic?
Warren County.
Was it in Lake George though, or was it?
It was the area of Lake George, correct, in the area of exit 22.
Forgive me if this was already covered, what are the charges?
Murder in the second degree.
This murder in the second degree just does not sit well with me. And I believe it was, who was it? And I don't want to say the wrong person. That it's really hard to get first degree murder in New York. I don't understand what they need to have to charge somebody with murder in the first.
And concealment of the human corpse.
In terms of the Amber Alert, I know there's been some people getting it, some not. Can you just tell us what the process was in issuing the Amber Alert and what time?
I don't have the time in front of me, but I can tell you just anytime an Amber Alert is issued, there's a balance between providing prompt information to the public, but also ensuring that information is accurate and reliable. We don't want to numb the public with unvetted alerts. So in this case, it was difficult to confirm some of the initial information provided about the suspect. It was just a vacation. It was a planned vacation. They visited a couple locations in Connecticut as well as New York. They were most recently in New York City.
You said surveillance was in Saratoga Springs. Was that the last piece of surveillance you received, or was there anything more than that?
That's correct. I do not have the timeline in front of me. It was at a restaurant.
You know about who the officers were devoted to this search?
Well, they know when she was alive. They know when she was called in that she had been abducted. So that's a very small timeline. They can figure that out real quick. He gave them the perfect timeline between seeing her with him, the phone call to mom, and then the call saying that she had been abducted by two guys in either a white car, a white van, or a box truck. Because I could not believe it when Mama B was reading me all those Amber Alerts, and I'm like, that's because he keeps changing his story. But they have to put it out there just in case he's telling the truth. You know, and because you don't get along with the ex, and you might have to, well, you should contribute monetarily to the upbringing of your children, doesn't give you any right to kill them. No.
I can't give you a number. It would be measured in the dozens. The Warren County Sheriff's Office sent every resource available to investigate this right at its inception. Same with the New York State Police. We had us in conjunction with the law enforcement partners. We had aviation, drones, K9, investigators, uniformed troopers. Every resource we had to bear, we applied in this investigation. I don't have a time. It's scheduled for today in town of Ticonderoga Court.
Just to clarify, you said she was, the body was found in shallow water?
In the shallow portion of a pond in a remote area. That's correct.
Where?
We're not divulging the location at this point.
I'm sure some local knows what location it was. He said shallow pond, remote area, shallow, and of course a log was on her. You've got to be kidding me. You have just got to be kidding me. You know, these are days when I say I need a new planet.
Did it appear that he had tried to conceal the body?
Yes.
How do you think the response was? You had a multi-agency search in a very short period of time. How did that work for you? How did you think that?
Public safety is always our number one priority. While these cases are very rare, they are incredibly tragic. And I just want to ensure the public that the New York State Police and our law enforcement partners will always utilize all available resources to apprehend any offenders that endanger children.
Can you talk at all about how difficult
It was very difficult. It's very emotional. I was at the command post when we received notification that she was deceased. It was very difficult and emotional. At that point, though, the best we could do is provide some measure of justice to the family, and we are just fortunate we're able to do that in this case. I'm sorry, can you say that again? Yes, he reported this. He fabricated the initial report of the abduction, and he was in the custody.
Oh, he flat out said, no, allegedly. No, allegedly. He said, no, he fabricated the report. Many people ask often, they go, well, how do they know the child wasn't abducted? I don't know, but they know. They can figure it out real quick. Real quick. OJ, your Auntie Ange said this is another reason I'm a dog person. I don't blame her, considering your fat ass is just sleeping behind my computer. And of course, he pled not guilty.
See the police from that point on.
Take one more question, Did you say that the mother, did you say if the mother had any concerns about the safety of her daughter while she was with him?
She had no concerns for her daughter's safety while she was with him. She knew that he was taking her on this trip to the States. Law enforcement was in contact with her as well as Montreal PD during the course of the investigation. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
All right, so he's done with that. My understanding is we won't have more information till Friday. And I do not know if they're going to stream it or if we will talk about it probably, let's say, Monday afternoon. But this is horrible. This is horrible. Mom and dad break up. Beautiful little girl. Beautiful little girl. Of course, he has to, since he's not the custodial parent, chip in to the ex's household to support his daughter. Okay, from there, they're going back and forth and 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 back and forth. We're going on vacation. She's like, oh, okay. Well, make sure you bring me my money when you bring her back. Oh, yeah, I will. Don't worry about it. So they go to the Connecticut. They go to the city. They go to Saratoga Springs. Sounds actually like a really nice trip. And she's found in a shallow pond with a log over her. Well, I know they call it second-degree murder in New York, but I call it heinous here. So I will update you guys on this when there is an update. And tomorrow, when I don't know what time the show's going to be tomorrow because I don't know what time O'Brien Koberger is getting sentenced. And trust me, there's not going to be anybody not talking about this tomorrow. Because supposedly he is supposed to, besides confess, give an explanation. We shall see. We shall see. Well, you guys are the best. Thank you, Mod Squad. Thank you, members. Thank you, new members. Thank you, new friends for being here. You guys are the best. Bye-bye.